When Captain Jonathan Walker boarded the plane, he wasn't just any traveler. He was the pilot. Yet the crew remained unaware of that fact. Denied a seat in first class, Jonathan uttered 3 straightforward words that turned the entire situation on its head. Stay tuned to discover this impactful story, and please share where you're watching from. We'd love to know. The elegant interior of the Skylux Airlines plane shimmered under soft cabin lighting in first class. Luxurious leather seats shone, each one broader than usual, with legroom that appeared to stretch infinitely. The subtle scent of citrus blended with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee as flight attendants greeted passengers with polished smiles. James Porter, a tall black man in his late 40s, entered the cabin dressed casually in a black bomber jacket, jeans, and sneakers. He looked more like a laid-back traveler than the experienced pilot he truly was. James, a senior captain for Skylux Airlines, was traveling as a passenger today, enjoying a well-deserved break after weeks of long-haul flights. As James approached his assigned seat 3A, he smiled at the flight attendant nearby. She glanced at him, but did not return the smile. Instead, her eyes flicked to his attire and back to the boarding pass in his hand. "Sir, are you certain you're in the right section?" she asked, her tone sharp. James raised an eyebrow, wondering if she was serious, or if he had misheard her. James handed over his boarding pass without saying a word. The flight attendant, Carol Adams, examined it with pursed lips. This is first class," she said, holding the pass up as if verifying its validity. "Are you sure you're meant to be here?" James nodded, his voice steady. "Yes. That's what the ticket indicates, doesn't it?" Carol's gaze shifted between the ticket and James. "We've encountered situations before where passengers mistakenly take the wrong seat. Let me consult with my supervisor." The murmurs of nearby passengers began to grow louder. James could feel their eyes on him, some inquisitive, others judgmental. "Ma'am," James said, his patience wearing thin, "I'm telling you, this is my seat." But Carol did not relent. Instead, she leaned toward another flight attendant and whispered something. A moment later, she turned back to James. "We need to confirm this with the gate. Please step aside until we resolve this." James glanced around, noticing the uncomfortable looks from other passengers. One man in a suit muttered, "What's the delay?" James sighed, his calm demeanor masking the frustration simmering beneath. Should he speak up now, or let them dig themselves into a deeper hole? As James stood near the galley, he felt the weight of the stares directed at him. The whispers from nearby passengers were not subtle, nor were the judgmental glances aimed in his direction. He could hear snippets of their conversations. Why would they stop him? One woman muttered, "Maybe he tried to sneak up here." Another man whispered, his tone accusatory. James inhaled deeply, working to maintain his composure. He wasn't new to this. Throughout his career, he had faced skepticism and outright doubt about his place in spaces of prestige or authority. When he first became a pilot, passengers would sometimes request to meet the captain, only for their expressions to shift when they saw him standing confidently in the cockpit. He recalled the countless times he had been underestimated. Initially, it had bothered him, not due to pride, but over the years he had learned to let those moments motivate him, using every doubt as fuel to excel even further. Yet standing there in first class, dressed casually on what was meant to be a relaxing flight, he felt the same sting of injustice. Not today, he thought. Not here. James glanced at Carol, the flight attendant, who had questioned his presence. She avoided his gaze, busying herself with pretending to check on the other passengers. But her evasion only confirmed what he already understood. This wasn't about protocol or procedure, it was about assumption. He adjusted his jacket and stood taller. If she was going to treat him as if he didn't belong, he would remind her and everyone else exactly who he was. James picked up his briefcase and moved toward Carol. It was time to put an end to this and ensure it wouldn't occur again. As James approached Carol once more, the tension in the cabin was palpable. Passengers had stopped unpacking their bags and sipping their drinks. All eyes were now on him and the flight attendant who had questioned his right to sit in first class. Carol glanced up, her expression shifting from annoyance to slight unease as James stopped directly in front of her. "We're still waiting for confirmation from the gate," she said, her voice a little less confident now. James leaned in slightly, his voice calm but firm. "I need you to listen very carefully." He began, his tone carrying an air of authority that immediately silenced the nearby whispers. "I fly this plane." Carol blinked, her face a mixture of confusion and disbelief. "What?" she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. James straightened up, ensuring his voice could reach the passengers, watching intently. "I'm Captain James Porter, senior pilot for Skylux Airlines. I've been flying for this company for over a decade. Today is my day off, and I'm here as a passenger, but I can assure you I have every right to this seat." Carol stammered her earlier, confidence shattered. "I didn't mean to. I just thought you thought wrong." James interrupted, his voice steady but resolute. "And that's the issue. Assumptions like yours don't just inconvenience passengers. They tarnish the reputation of this airline and everyone who works for it." The second flight attendant stepped in, her tone conciliatory. "Captain Porter, we sincerely apologize for this misunderstanding. Please allow us to rectify the situation." James nodded, but didn't let the moment pass without imparting a lesson. He turned to the nearby passengers, many of whom were still watching intently. "This isn't just about me," he said, his voice resonating through the cabin. "It's about ensuring that everyone, regardless of appearance, is treated with the same respect. Because respect shouldn't rely on who you think someone is. It's about who they truly are." Applause erupted in the cabin, with passengers expressing their support. Carol, visibly shaken, excused herself to the galley as James finally settled into his seat. The second flight attendant approached him cautiously. "Sir, is there anything we can assist you with?" James shook his head. "What I need is for your crew to reflect on what transpired today and learn from it. That's how we improve this industry." James's 3 whispered words had hushed the cabin, but their impact resonated far beyond that moment. Instances like these, where prejudice confronted truth, weren't just about calling out individuals. They were opportunities to change mindsets and systems. As the plane leveled at cruising altitude, James leaned back in his seat, contemplating how easily this incident could have escalated if he hadn't spoken up. "This wasn't just about me," he thought. "It's about establishing a standard for respect. Respect for dignity, for equality." Passengers continued to exchange murmurs, some praising his calm demeanor, others visibly grappling with the lesson they had just witnessed. James smiled faintly, knowing that even small moments like these could ripple outward, inspiring others to reconsider their own assumptions and biases. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a situation like this? Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring tales of justice and resilience.